Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing. So we are going to be doing something a little different. Instead of doing your typical weekly readings, we're actually going to do a monthly reading for September for each sign. Hopefully that will help kind of dive into some specifics that are happening with you and your situation at this time to get you some more detailed information particular to you. Do keep in mind this is a general reading. It is for a lot of people. So you might find there's only one or two messages for you. When I do these readings, I do pray, prepare, shuffle. I do ask that each of you receive at least one message, but it is good to keep in mind it is for a large audience. And if you find that not much is resonating with your sun sign, go ahead and listen to your moon or your rising. You might be able to get some information from those as well. And if you're still finding there's only a few messages, that's good. That means things aren't too bad. So I would be thankful for that. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you don't know much about me, I survived a bombing in Afghanistan. And at that time, my spiritual gifts were opened up, like blasted open up. I am clairaudient. I hear Jesus and the angels talk to me. I'm a medium. I'm an empath. I am certified by Doreen Virtue. I have a couple certificates by her. I am a quantum touch energy medicine practitioner. For those of you that aren't familiar, that is it's a healing modality. So like in a 3-hour healing session, and I give all the credit to God, a 3-hour healing session, I've had hundreds of people healed of cancer, multiple sclerosis, even like hip replacements, and down to things that are less severity, like healing broken bones, healing torn tendons, whatever it is, it can be taken care of with quantum touch. So welcome. You can read more about me. I'm not going to go into any more details, but there is an About Me section on my webpage. Feel free to check that out. For those of you that have been here for a while, thank you. Glad to have you continuing to return. Thank you for your subscriptions, your comments. Thanks for sharing these videos. I do love hearing how these are helping you. So even though I can't respond to all of you, continue sending the comments my way. I do love reading them. Now, for those of you that are going to be asking about sessions or readings, I'm still not accepting new clients because I am booked out quite a bit in advance with current clients, but please stay tuned. As soon as my retirement is finalized, I will then open up for new clients. It should be happening in the very, very near future. I will announce it in these readings. So as soon as it's announced, then you will be able to go online and book appointments. So we are going to do a little educational bit, and actually this is going to be the same intro for every single sign. So if you do go and listen to your moon or rising, you can skip past this part. I know a lot of you are going to skip past this anyhow, but I would encourage you to stay because it is going to help you kind of understand what's going on right now with the energy. So as we all know, the energy is extremely intense right now. It has been for most of the year, but especially since we had the eclipse on August 21st. And it's, as you notice, everyone's like, oh, why hasn't it settled down? Because it's starting to ramp up even more. And it's going to continue like this all the way through the end of September. Many of you know that on September 23rd, there is going to be that Revelations 12 sign. If you are not familiar, there are a bunch of videos on YouTube. Just go to watch whichever one you are guided to watch, and you'll be able to get some information on that. The 144,000 should all be sealed by September 23rd. And what you're going to find is things are going to start to ramp up even more than they are. So if you've not done any research yet, there is this Schumann resonance, and it's the Earth's heartbeat. Essentially what it is, the Earth has a frequency, and it's an interplay with our electromagnetic field. Essentially, it's the pulses of energy between the Earth's surface and our ionosphere. And for years and years and years, the Earth's resonance heartbeat was at 7.83 hertz. And what they noticed in 2014 is that it began increasing. And 7.83, if you think of it, it's kind of like an alpha theta, like a dream state. You're very calm, you're very relaxed. Once it gets over 16.5, that's kind of like, actually over 15, it's kind of like an awakened calm. So like an awakening, spiritual awakening. And that is why a number of people have been going through all this awakening stuff. It's been particularly intense for millions of people since 2014. And it's continued to increase. They found that in 2017, it had jumped to over 36 plus hertz. And once you get over 36, it's kind of like there's this nervousness and anxiety in people's brain versus that calm, healthy state. But what that does is that starts to change our DNA. That starts to bring in more of God's light. It pushes out the dark. And we see that every day. We see these things happening, and we're kind of shocked that these things are happening in our world right now. But in order to fill things with more light, with more love, you have to get rid of the dark. And you got to push the dark out so it comes to the surface so we get to see more of it. Now, on a personal level, what's happening for us is that's forcing all of us to release our own individual darkness, our karma. We have to release those things. We have to learn those lessons. We have to heal those things. That's why we've been under such intense pressure and being pushed, kind of like in a pressure cooker that's about to bubble over, because there's just so many things being pulled from our lives, released from our lives, let go. But that is because we're being filled with more light, more of God's light, love, coming into a state of unconditional love. To come into that state, we can't hold on to the darkness anymore. We can't hold on to people that aren't meant for us. We can't hold on to situations that aren't meant for us. All those things that do not serve us, all those things that are not of love, of unconditional love, and even down to not loving ourselves, that all has to go. Has to be released, has to be healed. Lessons have to be learned, things have to be let go of. And that's prepare us for things that are to come. And it's all this big awakening that we're going through, this ascension process. And there's a lot of ascension symptoms and things that you go through. There's actually a guy that does YouTube videos. I don't often have time to watch his videos, but when I do, he's got really good videos. And I think he posts one per day. But if you want to check him out, I'll put a link to his YouTube channel below. His name is Victor Odo, and he talks about the ascension process. And he gives tips and pointers and things that you can do to ground yourself, to release things, because there's a lot that you can do. I mean, if you're struggling, because a lot of people have been struggling since the 21st. They've had a lot of ailments, conditions, headaches, rashes, all types of things popping up. Tonight, fill your tub, fill it up with some water, put some Epsom salt in there, and soak in the tub for 20 minutes. That will release those physical toxins, that will release those emotional toxins, that will help you get to feeling better. Anytime you feel these things bubble up, that's because you're releasing things. And in order to speed that up, soak in the tub, go see a healer, walk outdoors in nature. You know, for some it's also changing diet, but there's things that you can do to help this, help your system quickly release it. And he does cover those things in his videos. Now, you will find, because a lot of you, again, since the eclipse, you've had just a lot of intense energy, weird things happening with your body, headaches that won't go away. A lot of you are kind of feeling like anxious, like, oh my gosh, something's about to happen. I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm a little anxious. I don't know why. That's because things are going to be continuing to accelerate. Clear up until September 23rd. Now, with the whole ascension process, it's still going to be intense after that, but you will get a bit of a breather. So once we get into October, you get to take a deep breath, kind of calm down a little bit. But it is in preparation for things that are to come. So I'm going to share some information, and don't be worried about this information. It's all good. It's all bringing us to a better place. It's not something to freak out about. But when you read the Bible and you look at that, what it talks about in the Bible, like the rapture, that is true. These things we are going to see in our lifetimes, those of us that are here right now. And again, it's not something to fear. But what we're doing is we're preparing essentially for, if you look at it, it's kind of like the earth is going to be splitting into two. So there will be like this new earth. There's actually some videos out there. Dolores Cannon, she did hypnosis sessions, and people were always talking about this new earth, this split. And many of the things that she shares in her videos are true. Now, not everything, but many things are. So what I would recommend is check out some of her videos. You know, pray, ask that your angels and God and Jesus, ask that they come and they help you discern what is true and what is not. And ask that they help fill in some blanks for you. Because you'll find if you ask that, you will know immediately something that's resonating with you that, yeah, that is true, that is spot on. You'll know what is not, and they will fill in the blanks for you. But you do have to pray and ask that they do that beforehand. But what's described in the Bible. And actually, if you look at, you know, religious texts and look at them, there's actually bits and pieces from different parts, because, you know, Jesus was a Jew. He actually was an Essene. The Essenes are the foundation of Christianity. It kind of all grew and evolved from there. But what it talks about with that, you know, going to be going through the rapture process, things are going to appear that are like that. Now, the severity of things that do occur as we're going through these changes do hinge off of where we are as a collective. You know, we can make things not as bad. We can make things worse. It depends on whether we're coming from a place of love or whether we're coming from a place of fear, where we're all coming from too, and what we're contributing to that. But we are going to get to a state in this split where millions of people are going to disappear. What is going to appear for the people that are on old Earth is that, you know, they'll wake up, because it will happen in an instant, in the twinkling of an eye, and just millions of people will be gone. And those that are going to be gone, those are going to be the people that believe. They believe in God. They believe in Jesus. Not to delve too deeply into texts and things to look at, scriptures and stuff, but I encourage all of you, as we go through this, to do your own research, look at things and see what really truly resonates with your heart and soul. Because what you'll find is you'll learn a lot, and you'll find that these things are going to resonate with you. Because when you watch, like, you know, Dolores Cannon, she did these hypnosis sessions, and they're coined QHHT sessions. When you watch those, you'll find a lot of people, when they talk about the new earth, when they are asked, like, what's required to get to the new earth, they always, you know, they'll say that, you know, they have to believe. They have to believe in God. They have to believe. That's true. Now, when you look at Jesus, when Jesus was here, again, he was born Jewish, he was an Essene, but he loved everyone. It didn't matter the color of your skin. It didn't matter what your religious upbringing was. He traveled around. He loved everyone. He was here as a savior, a Messiah for everyone here on earth. Everyone, all of us, every single one of us. And it's interesting, because when I do healing sessions, and you know, I'm a seer as well. Oftentimes when I'm doing them, I'll see what my clients are physically wearing on the other side of the world while I'm working on them. But when I'm doing these healing sessions, and, you know, it might be my client or someone doing soul contract cancellations with or whatever, the moment that Jesus comes into the scene, because when I'm doing these sessions, Archangel Michael's always there, Archangel Raphael's usually there, but sometimes Jesus will come in during the session, and the moment that he enters, the client, their family members, whomever else is there, all of them will immediately drop to the ground and bow down to him, because he emulates that power. Jesus is power. He is the light. He is the light that will snuff out the darkness. And he truly is. Like, if you look at near-death experiences, when people have a God come in, that they meet, that they get to experience, it's always Jesus. And I encourage you to try it for yourself, actually. Because, again, we're all supposed to learn. We're not supposed to just blindly believe things that we're told. You know, we're even taught that, you know, in the biblical texts. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to discern. We are supposed to dig. We're also supposed to ask, and we will receive the guidance and information. Not to trust what others are giving us, not to be deceived. So many of you, because you are going through this ascension process, many of you are actually under psychic attack right now. There is a spiritual war going on between light and dark. So many of you are being attacked by darker entities. You know that because you're having bad dreams. Or, you know, your animals or your kids are just fighting all the time. It's like there's a lot of this anger and hatred in your home. Or maybe you're tripping when you're at the house, and it's kind of like you feel like someone pushed you or shoved you. Or you accidentally cut yourself and you're like, I wasn't even doing it. It's almost like something else did it to you. Or maybe in your dreams you're getting red eyes, or you're having a really lot of dark dreams. And they're kind of scary and worrisome. When you're experiencing those things, that's because something dark is in your home. It's very easy to remove those things. Now, you can, in your own power, command that person to leave, that entity to leave. You can call upon any higher power that you want to. You can say in their name for it to leave. What you will find is that entity will not leave. However, when you command it to leave in the name of Jesus, and you call on God and Jesus to help you, and you command it in the name of Jesus to leave, you'll find that you and your family get instant relief, that it's gone. And that's something I encourage clients to do right away, because, you know, I'll talk with clients, they'll be like, oh my gosh, all these bad things are happening, and I don't know how to stop it. And when I recommend that they try that, suddenly the dark stuff's gone. Suddenly their kids are getting along. Suddenly their animals are getting along. Suddenly they're not tripping and hurting themselves anymore, because there is power in the name of Jesus, and it's gone. But you, again, don't have to believe me. Try it yourself. See how it works. Now, I know I've shared in some other videos that last September I was falling asleep, and there was this, it was as though someone was standing outside of my bedroom playing a trumpet. Now, it's interesting because in, you know, Jewish, there's different, you know, feasts that they have. They have feasts of trumpets. Then these are very important points when you look at things that have happened worldwide that are big, that have been, you know, foretold in our theological religious texts, not just Christianity. They happen on a Jewish feast, because that's how God times things. That's how Jesus times things. And so we were around one of the feasts, and I hear like someone, it's as though literally standing outside my bedroom window playing a trumpet. And then within a couple days, I was unloading my car, I was outside, and all of a sudden I heard this like a horse, and it literally blew on my neck and jumped, it made me jump, and I was startled. And it was Jesus on this white horse, and he told me to not be afraid, and he told me that it's time to prepare, it's time to start preparing. Now, if you're familiar, Jesus on a white horse, when he returns on a white horse. So, and you can research that and check that out, but there are things that are about to occur, that are about to happen. So, like some may have noticed, like we've had a lot of people passing away the past 2-3 years, and like people that are young, totally unexpected, and it's been a lot of people. Like, you know, in our lifetimes, we've never seen anything like this until recently. That's going to continue into early 2018. That's because our loved ones, they know what's about to come. They want to witness it from the other side. They don't want to get to experience it with us. They will be with us. They will be helping us. They're just going to be doing it from the other side. They're going to let us have the experience. And that's why there have been so many of them passing on, because they have made that choice to not be on this side for everything. Now, again, it's not something to be afraid of. But what will happen is these people who believe, they will disappear. They'll be on this new earth. Now, that new earth, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of details about that, but maybe at some point we'll do some down the road when they tell me it's time. We'll do some educational video about that. But essentially, people will be there for about 1,000 years. Eventually, it's like the returning to Garden of Eden. And over that time, over that 1,000 years, people's bodies will evolve into light bodies. So then it will eventually evolve to the point that, you know, people are there, but they're not in physical bodies. So we'll talk about that more later. Simultaneously, around that same time, what will happen is these people will disappear, and that's going to be millions. Because a lot of people think that they're going to be left behind because, you know, the Bible states only 144,000 are going to be ascending. No, millions of people who are believers, are going to just, boop, disappear. Almost at that exact time, immediately following the disappearance within minutes, the 144,000 will ascend. And those that are here on old earth will physically see them ascending. And what they're going to see is they're going to see Jesus on a white horse. They're going to see his army of angels behind him, and they're all on white horses. And those 144,000 that are going to ascend, they are angels incarnated. They're physically in human bodies right now, but they will be ascending. They are part of God's army. And that's going to be kind of like the final throwdown with the dark. But once that's all done, and that's going to be very swift and quick. I mean, if you look at human times, it's going to be something that's going to happen in under an hour. It's going to be very, very fast. And then those 144,000 will meet their families on the new earth. And it will seem like they weren't even gone. It'll seem like, you know, seconds. But it's not anything to fear. You really don't have anything to fear and worry about. I mean, if you look at it, if you're listening to this video, you're preparing to go to New Earth. You're experiencing all these ascension systems, all these ascension symptoms, you're preparing. Your system's changing, your body's changing. You are preparing to make that change, make that leap. That's a beautiful thing. And when you look at it, I mean, it's been a struggle for us because we've had to lose friends, we've had to lose lovers, we've had all these things taken out of our life. But that's because those things aren't good for us. And we're going to a place that's filled with love and bliss and joy and unconditional love. Those things were not of unconditional love, so they're not meant to go with us. That's why we have to let them go. You can even find that you're having very positive experiences. Like maybe you have, I was talking with a friend and, you know, we were having a conversation about how, you know, you can be driving the same path as someone else to work at the same time. And maybe you don't experience any traffic and you don't experience any car accidents. It's like easy breezy. You're hitting every green light. You're like, this day is amazing, best ever. But then you talk to your friend who drove the same time, the same route, and they experienced nothing but stop traffic, red lights, car accidents. It was a horrible drive to work for them. That's because you're starting to see the split. The split's starting to already occur. So some of us are having really good positive experiences. Some of us are not having such good experiences. The split's starting to occur. And that's why now is the time to prepare. It's time to prepare spiritually, it's time to prepare mentally, it's time to prepare physically. And what that really means to us is it's time to stop the distractions. You know, the angels have been talking nonstop in all of our videos the past couple months is stop the distractions, stop the multiple relationships, the rebounds, the drugs, the addictions, the behaviors that aren't, you know, in your highest good. If you're supposed to be, you know, because those of us that have things that we still need to let go of that we're like clinging tightly to, we know what it is that we're being guided to do and let go of. We know that. It is time to do those things that we're being guided to do. So if you're being guided to let go of an ex or a partner or a job or even a diet change, whatever it is that you're being guided to do that. Because so many of us, because the things that we're still holding on to, we're holding on to it out of fear. We are terrified to let that person go, that thing go, because that's been, you know, that's been constant for us. That's been, even though it's not been happy, it's been stability for us. It's been comfort for us. We don't want to venture into the unknown, but that is the one thing that is not meant for us. It's not good for us. We know that. But instead of dealing with that, many of us have turned to other relationships, or we've turned to alcohol, or we've turned to drugs, or we've turned to pornography, or we've turned to anything and everything that will keep us off of doing what we're meant to do, keep us from having those conversations, keep us from ending those ties, keep us from signing the paperwork. But the time has come to do those things because they're trying to bring us back to a state of unconditional love. They're trying to bring us to a state of loving ourselves, loving others. They're bringing us into a state of wholeness. We can't be whole and happy with this baggage we keep lugging around. We have got to let the baggage go because we're drowning. We've been struggling to tread water for a while, and it's drowning us. So we've got to let that dead weight go. And what you will find this weekend, if you happen to listen to this, the first weekend of September, for those of us in the United States, you'll be celebrating Labor Day. But it'll be this weekend all the way through the full moon that we're going to be having this first week of September. It's going to be intense. You're going to feel some of that intensity that you felt around the eclipse. And that's because they're hitting us to release those things that don't serve us. So, like maybe you're noticing a repeated theme. Like something keeps happening over and over and over, but you're clinging to something you know you need to let go of. It's time to let go because you can't take that with you. You can't take that person with you. So maybe you started, you know, dating someone else. Maybe there's an ex you're supposed to be letting go of. And, you know, you've not let that ex go because maybe you think it's going to change, or maybe there's money worries, or you're afraid of going into the unknown. Or it could be that like your family relies, and I'm not talking your kids because you still get to take care of your children. You need to keep taking care of your children. But I'm talking about like maybe their family counts on you, their siblings or something, or maybe there's like some community connection with them and you don't want to let them down. But for some reason, if you boil it down though, it's fear. You continue to hold on to them. But maybe you're not talking with them at this point. You've not ended the final ties. So while you're sitting in this place of limbo, knowing that you're to release that ex, and you haven't, not wanting to deal with it, you start jumping into other relationships, and maybe you jump into a rebound relationship, but you're discovering that that rebound is a lot like your ex. You know, maybe they are very manipulative, or maybe they really try and nag you into doing things or push you to do things, or maybe they're trying to push you to quickly commit, or they could be like a me person, self-centered, it's all about them. Or they make you feel bad in order to get you to do something that they want you to do. And you feel kind of like, dang, this is like my ex. I feel like I've jumped back into my ex. That's because it's a repeated pattern. You are seeing the same attributes and characteristics of your ex because you have not released your ex. You have not released that karma. You have not learned that lesson. So it's ramping up. It's ramping up because it's time to let that person go. So this weekend through the full moon, this next week, many people are going to have some huge breakthroughs, some big epiphanies, some ahas. That is meant to help you let go of that fear that is keeping you from taking that leap of faith, that final step of clearing that karma, releasing that person, releasing that situation, because the time has come. And we've been pushed to do this for a couple years, because what you'll find is essentially the way the planets are going to be aligned at this time is the same way they were aligned during the eclipse in 2015. So some of you were being pushed to release the exact same thing or person 2 years ago in August 2015. But what happened is you did not want to let go. You're like, oh, hell no. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold on with both hands. I'm going to cling with both legs. I'm going to drag on their leg because I'm not letting them go. This is my plan. I'm sticking to it. I refuse to release it or release them. But you clung on. So for some of you, say it was a love interest. You know, in the fall, heading into the winter of 2015, you decided to, maybe you proposed to them. Maybe you remarried them. Maybe you married them. Maybe you stopped divorce proceedings. Or it could be maybe you stayed at that job. But instead of letting go, you went the opposite direction. You clung out of fear. For many of us, the exact same thing we were to release in 2015 is boiling back up. And many of you have seen that same exact situation bubble up recently, and you're really going to see it bubble up this week because it's out of fear that you're clinging on to it or clinging on to them. The time has come. It is time to let them go. It is time to let the situation go. We are really being pushed to take that leap of faith, take that plunge, release the fear, release them. We're also going to be pushed to deal with the things that we keep ignoring. So maybe we don't want to deal with it because it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation or a difficult conversation, or it's going to be, you know, outside of our norm, outside of our comfort zone. So we're like, oh gosh, I just don't want to deal with that. I just can't deal with that right now. I'd rather just keep burying my head in the sand or burying my head in someone else instead of having to deal with it. It's coming to a culmination point where it has to be dealt with. That's why we have been under so much intense pressure now for a couple years, because we have to release it. We have to let it go. We can't go to the new earth. We can't go through this ascension stuff that's about to happen until we release these people, these situations, this karma. If you look at it, an easy way to look at it is to sit down and think, okay, what was I supposed to learn from this person? Because if you look at it, or situation, typically there's something that you were to learn to love yourself unconditionally. Because if we love ourselves unconditionally, we won't allow people to treat us that way. We won't allow them to make us feel as though we are less than. We will establish healthy boundaries. We will not tolerate a job where we are not respected and valued. But we have to love ourselves. But instead of getting so wound up in emotions, if we can separate and look at it, and also pray, God, Jesus, angels, help me. What was I supposed to learn from this? Because as soon as you realize what you were supposed to learn, suddenly you don't have the emotions, you don't have the desire to cling to them anymore. You're like, okay, deuces. Deuces, learned it, don't want to go through this anymore. I'm tired of this crap. And for those of you that have found a rebound that they're the exact same as an ex, you'll be done with them too. Because you're like, no, I deserve better than that. I am worthy of better than that. I am so worthy of so much better. And I've now figured out what I was supposed to learn, and I'm done with it. But the time to do that is now. Because you can't take them with you. And you don't want to be stuck here because you can't release the fear. You can't release those worries. You can't come back to a state of loving yourself unconditionally. That's why we're all being pushed. It's gotten so intense for all of us. But for those of us that have released things, congratulations, because those of you that have released those big karmic things, yeah, the eclipse was still, it was intense for everybody. It was still intense. It might have bothered you a little bit, but you weren't depressed. You weren't having panic attacks. You were just kind of breezing through it. Congratulations. You have released your big lessons, your karma. You are prepared. You are ready. For those of you that are not, use this time to let it go, to sit down, and also to face your emotions, because for some of you, they're saying you don't want to deal with it because you do not want to face your emotions. You don't want to share them. You don't want to acknowledge that you have them. You don't want to open up. You don't want to be honest. You don't want to be honest with yourself. You don't want to be honest with others. This is the time to do that. Let those walls down. Take your mask off. It will be worth it. And for those of you that are fearing the conversations, they're not going to be as difficult as you think they will be. Because if it's meant to be, if it's a conversation to let someone or something go, it's going to go really easy, and you're going to release that instantaneously because you have so much support on the other side. And also on the flip side, if it's a conversation for someone that you're meant to bring into your life or something that you're meant to do, that's going to go really easy too. Because sometimes we beat ourselves up because we think, oh, I really messed that up real bad. That's not going to happen. Don't have those fears. Just, you have an entire team helping you. Ask that they help you. Because again, the thing to keep in mind, our angels cannot help us unless we ask for their help. Because we have free will. The only time they will ever step in without us asking is if it's life or death. If it's not our time to go, they're going to step in and keep us here. But other than that, they will face palm all day long and wonder, why won't you ask? We can help you. We can make it easier. Just ask for their help. They will make it easy. It'll be a breeze. Because if you had nothing but heartache and trials and tribulations and blocks and headaches this whole time, you know what you're being guided to do. You got this whole team behind you that's going to help you execute it and make those changes. Let them help you. Ask them, they help you do that this week. It'll be worth it. And then you'll find that you're not going to be stuck in this little hell any longer, because for those of you that have clung on, it's been a pretty miserable 2 years. Aren't you ready for things to get better? For things to get better, it's time to stop the distractions, do what you're being guided to do. Because when you've released that person, situation, that karma, you have learned that lesson, you will be back to a state of loving yourself. You will not feel bad about making choices that are good for you. You will not allow someone to control and dominate you. You will set healthy boundaries, and you'll just come back into a state of bliss, of happiness, where life's easy, where you're that person who's driving down the road and you've got every green light and you're listening to your favorite song and you're getting a little dance party going on in your car. You're like, life is so good. Thank you for this. Life is good. To come back to a state of loving life and loving every minute of it and knowing that life is good, you got to do your work. But it's not going to be as hard as you think. So they're there. Let them help you. Do that. Use this time, use this energy, use your team, and just do it already. Get her done. And then get back to your happy, because they're ready to bring you some happy. Okay, so I know that was long, and I'm going to do each of your signs and astrological readings. So just know that however long this is right now, you're just going to get to skip past this on each of them. I will put it at the beginning of each one. And let's go ahead and get started with your monthly astrological readings. Hello, Taurus. How are you? Okay, let's go ahead and see what's going to be in store for you for the month of September 2017. For those of you that are interested in the cards that we're using today, we're going to be using Doreen Virtue's Fairy Tarot cards, as well as her Archangel Michael, Mother Mary Oracle cards, and Colette Baron Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle. I have also prayed over, shuffled my Sibylla's, Lenormands, and Findicicles. So as we need clarifiers along the way, we have those ready to pull. When I prepared, I did ask that each of you receives at least one message. Hopefully you will receive more than that, but you should at least get one. You can always watch your moon and your rising signs. Okay, we've got some space to move it down. Okay, good. So what we have is the situation, the foundation, and it could also be what led to the situation, what is blocking you, what is unknown to you at this time, and then what is recommended, what the angels are recommending you do this month in order to, to move forward. Now, you do have one major arcana. The majors, those are big things in life. They're huge. They are fated. They're destined. They are things that, are going to happen, and they're out of our control. Now, when it comes to the minors, the nice thing is you only have one of those. The other three are minor pip cards, minor arcana cards. So with those, you do have more control, which is a good thing. That means you can turn things around. You can shift things. It's all in your actions and the steps that you take. But in the center of your situation is a major arcana. It is release. And in traditional tarot, this would be the death card. And at the bottom, it says, let go of the past, an ending that makes way for new opportunities, time to move on. And this really is all about letting the past go, letting someone go in order to move forward, because that person or that situation is holding us back. They're keeping us stuck. And, for some of you, you've had a hard time letting them go, letting that situation go. And it's really been sucking your joy and your happiness out, because a lot of you are really stressed about what you're going through right now. It's been very, very challenging. But by releasing that person, releasing that situation, you will be able to move forward. You'll be able to find your happiness again. You'll be able to bring joy back in. So it is by releasing, letting go, you will be able to have new opportunities come in. But right now you're not seeing the new opportunities because you're really stuck with this. And for some of you, it's a legal battle for some of you. Okay. Yeah. So some of you are going through some legal battles. You could be going through a divorce. As the foundation, you have Ace of Autumn. At the bottom, it says a windfall of money, advice or assistance from others, a very successful project, a happy change in your career. And in traditional tarot, this would be coins. Actually, you have two cards that are coins, which is money, finances, stability. But this is all about, a gift, an unexpected windfall of money, resources that help you pursue your dreams, help bring your dreams to life, bring them to fruition. And it can be money. It can also be like assistance. Maybe someone helps and provides free business assistance. They help put a business plan together. But it also speaks about, using those resources, using that investment, using your money wisely, making wise investments. Because by making wise investments, it can lead to a very successful venture, successful beginning. And also, giving our resources in such to gifting them to someone that is going to value them. For some of you, it's because, again, this is what has led to this. Why would you release somebody that's giving you money, that's helping you out? But I get for some of you, you invested in someone, in something, in their business plan. It could be even you invested in home or property with them. Maybe you start a real estate business with them. But you invested in them. You invested your money in them, and it was not a wise decision. But for many of you, you invested in it because many of you it was because of love. So you love this person, you cared for this person, you thought, okay, this is a good investment. But now it's put you in a bad position. Now you're down on your luck. And for some of you, now things are also like you're out of control, they're out of control, your emotions are out of control, you're not in balance. Because for some of you, you're going through some heated arguments. For some of you, you are going through some legal battle. You're going through the court system right now, you're waiting a decision, a determination. You're waiting to see if fortune is going to go in your favor or not. They've got these little fortune cookies on these scales. You're wondering if it's going to go in your favor or their favor. And you're really worried about it. Because you're looking back and you're realizing, oh my gosh, this was a really bad idea. I didn't think this one through. What's blocking you is 6 of Autumn. And at the bottom it says, the good you do comes back to you, an unexpected inflow of money, borrowing wisely, or repaying a debt. And this card, it's all about sharing the success that we have, sharing our resources. You know, heaven's blessed us. We have the opportunity to bless and help others. But it's also not blessing, helping others by just giving them money, but also volunteering our time, assisting them, mentoring them, guiding them. But, you know, brings things into balance. But also doing things honest from the right place, balancing that giving and receiving. In the gilded, yes, in the gilded tarot, there's a picture of this rich man. He has his hand out the window and he's just handing out coins, but he's handing them out haphazardly. He's not paying attention to who he's throwing his money at. He's just throwing his money around. Not wise, not a wise choice, not a wise decision, because he's not thinking it through. So for some of you, what is blocking you? For some of you, what's blocking you is trying to recover your cash, the money that you invested. For some of you, the other thing that's blocking you is the person that you're making the investments with. Because there is a heartfelt connection with that person, you want to continue to keep helping them. But that's what's blocking you. You need to stop helping them. You need to shut off the faucet, because that is not a wise choice. They're saying for some of you, you're wasting your resources. You're wasting your money. You know, down here, if someone doesn't value what you're giving them, it's like it's not valued. It's not appreciated. It's as though you're just throwing it out the window. Because it's not a wise choice. It's not a wise investment. And you're making it, I get for some of you that are making this investment, you're making it because you're coming from the right place in your heart. You care about this person. You love this person. You want them to succeed. You want to help them out. You want to invest in their business. Some of you even think that, okay, well, I'm going to invest in this and it's going to turn into something that's going to help benefit us down the road. You know, it's going to help us build equity so we can, you know, use that toward our own home. Your intentions are from the right place. Their intentions are not from the right place. Now, what's unknown to you is you have the King of Summer. Honorable, devoted, mature, warm-hearted, a romantic partner you can trust, excellent advice that comes from the heart, getting involved in a cultural or creative endeavor. Now, this king, he's someone, you know, you can completely trust. You can totally count on them. He's all about love. This would be cups in traditional tarot. He's King of Cups, love, emotions, very compassionate, will listen to your fears, your worries, and he will provide insight. He will provide assistance and emotional assistance. He has a very rich inner life. He is well-rounded. He's also very spiritually well-rounded. You see, he's got that fish, which represents Christianity. He's got the fish around his neck. Very spiritual. He's a humanitarian. He's very chivalrous. He is very good with love and relationships. I mean, he's a person that commits. He's intense. He has been through a lot to become the king. But he's all about love. Like if you look underneath his feet here, he's standing in a bed of roses, and those signify true love. Being able to trust him, that he's honorable, he's coming from a genuine place. But you see how he kind of looks mad? He's kind of angry, like his defenses are up. He's ready to do battle. He's holding on to that staff, and there's like these spikes at the end of it. Like he's ready to do battle. He's had enough. Because sometimes, you know, if we're the king, or we can be the queen, of Cups, again, if we're always giving and we're not receiving and things are not balanced, eventually we will get to the point that we've had enough. We can't take this anymore, because people who are givers, they love to give, but they also need to receive. But people that like to receive, sometimes that's all they want to do. They want to be the takers. So for some of you, this relationship, you've been with a taker. They are happy to take, but they are not happy to give. And some of you are just fed up with it. And some of you, that's why there has been contention and strife, because, you know, when things are missing. So say there's a relationship, and, you know, or a partnership, and it's founded on love, and one person's giving from a genuine place in their heart, giving. The other person, their intentions are not pure. They're happy to receive. Eventually what happens is the person that's giving from the right place is going to become very angry and resentful, and they're going to feel used and unappreciated. And they're going to up and leave that behind. And that's what's unknown to some of you. That this dynamic, it is about to end. For some of you, it will end in September. And some of you, it is that you are indeed in the court system. So you could be going through a divorce. You could be going through breaking up business. You could also just be going through, hey, I'm suing, you know, her or him because they rip me off all the time. But for some of you, you're going to receive the adjudication, the information, the resolution, the decision in the month of September. It's been a long time coming, but it's almost like you've been waiting and hoping and praying and wondering how this is going to turn out. Is it going to be in your favor? Is it going to be balanced? And all of a sudden, bam, unexpectedly, you're going to receive that information. But what that is going to do, I get for many of you, that's going to free you up from this person so you can have a new relationship. So for some of you, you're the king and you have been investing in a woman. Change the sexes accordingly if it sounds like you're sore, but you're the king, you've been investing in this woman. What's blocking you is you keep wanting to help her, you keep wanting to assist her, but you need to let her go. But you keep trying, and you're going to finally come to the point this month that you're going to realize, okay, enough's enough. I've had it. This is not fair. This is not balanced. I'm ready for this to be done and over. And you'll end it, and you'll be able to move forward. And then you will find a romantic partner that you can trust, that you can count on, that is genuine, that is coming from the right place. So that when you invest in them, they're investing in you as well. It's mutually beneficial. It's not one-sided. This has been one-sided. Now, as far as what they are recommending that you do, and we'll come back and put a couple clarifiers on that here in a second. You have Jesus. And at the bottom it says, I pray for Jesus's help and guidance with this situation. Now, Jesus, he's like the ultimate helper. He's all about love, unconditional love. He can help you with this situation. Now, they're not saying heal the situation, because so for those of you that this is a romantic partnership, it does need to end. It's time for it to end. For those of you that it was investing in like a business partner, it is time for it to end. But he can help heal your heart. He can help heal you and help you let go. Because for some of you, you know, you're the king. You're all about love. You're like, oh, I love her. I'm going to keep giving her money, keep investing in her. That's what's blocking you. What's blocking you is you just keep trying to help. You're like that rich man throwing money out the window, not paying any attention to who's collecting the coins. Which is interesting, because even in this card, you've got this house and this window, and these fairies are all holding like coins that are all glittery. It's kind of like your hands out, just throwing money away because you want to help. So the thing that's in you that needs to be healed is that you need to see the truth. You need to see that this is not benefiting you. Because what's blocking you is you need to stop giving to this person. It's time to release them. It's time to stop this. It's not a wise choice. It's not a wise decision. It's not going to bring you a queen of summer who you can have a life with. Because for some of you, it's like you're investing in this woman, in this person, because you're like, okay, that's what's going to help bring us together. That's going to bring us into, being a king and queen together. We're going to have this foundation, this family, this home. We're going to build this together. But that is not how this is going to end up. They'll just continue taking from you. But Jesus will help you realize that. Ask for his help. Ask to see the truth. Ask that he also helps free you from this. Because some of you, you're having a very tough inner battle, inner struggle of trying to let go. But the time has come. Now the next card we have is to be fair. And for some of you, this is a marriage that's ending. She's in this white dress gown, kind of looks like a wedding gown. So some of you are going through a divorce, but this is all about balance and justice and mutual benefit and the law of cause and effect. It's really talking about looking at our options. It's really about coming into truly a place of balance. See how she's juggling those scales. It's also about being wise. There's that owl that's on top of her head. It's about knowing the difference between doing and being, giving and receiving. Knowing when to love someone, knowing when to let someone go. It's also about reaping what you sow, because for every action, there will be a reaction. For every cause, there's an effect. But it's also being fair in relationship, fair in the divorce, fair in the way assets are split. Because some of you are very concerned. So for some of you, you've really invested heavily. You've got this fortune cookie and this egg. So you kept investing, hoping to have this new beginning. You've invested a fortune. Some of you are afraid that, okay, in this disillusion, this divorce, this splitting up, I'm going to be robbed of my fortune. But things will be balanced. They will be fair. Now, for those of you that have been takers the whole time, which I don't get that's many of you that are listening to this, but if you are the person that's been the taker, we do reap what we sow. So there is going to be some balance that's going to be coming out in September. So if you've been taking from this king the whole time, the king is going to be receiving what's due to him. And for many of you, it is going to happen in the month of September. So I do get for a number of you, see, she's all dressed in her finery. I do get that she kept wanting money, wanting investments to care for herself. Keep that lifestyle. Keep that finery. Which is fine, because if you're in a relationship with someone and you both have money and you're both investing in each other, or maybe a man's investing because, oh my gosh, I'm so in love, but she's investing in him, taking care of him because, oh my gosh, she's so in love with him. It's different ways of investing. It's money versus caring, doing, but it balances. Regardless of what you're giving, time, money, resources, effort, as long as both parties are giving, then it's balanced. But this is not balanced. You have one party that is giving so much more than the other party. And what is going to happen this month is things are going to come into balance. Things are going to be fair. For some, you are going to be receiving a judgment, a decision. That is finally going to end this, so that everyone can move forward. Now, both parties on both sides are really worried about how this is going to shake out, especially if you're in the court systems. You have prayer will help this situation. And at the bottom it says, Dear God and Archangel Michael, and anyone else whom you pray, such as Jesus. Again, back to ask him for help. I ask for your divine intervention. Describe the situation. I welcome your help, and I trust and follow your guidance with gratitude and grace. I need a miracle and ask that you send one to me in this situation quickly. Thank you and amen. So ask for help. A lot of you are very stressed. You're worried. You're fretting. You don't know how this is going to turn out. Pray. Ask for God's help. Ask for Jesus' help. Ask for the angels' help. Again, always remember the angels cannot help you unless you ask for their help, because we do have free will. They're not going to step in unless you ask for them to step in and help. So do that. This is the time. You're at that point, Taurus, you need to ask for their help, because you are in the 11th hour of this culminating. And those of you that this is in the course system, you're waiting on adjudication, decision, determination to come your way. You want it to be fair. So in order for it to be fair, start setting up those prayers. Start asking for some help. And turn over those worries and fears, because a lot of you are just so stressed. This will alleviate your stress as well. They'll be able to take that for you. Okay, let's pull a couple quick clarifiers. We'll start with release. Okay, so we have the ladro, and this is the thief, loss of goods, loss of money, having things stolen, being robbed, someone tricking us, taking from us. We have the la alegría, and this is, you know, celebration, but it's celebration, cheerfulness between friends and family. It's not there's a second happiness card, and it's the happiness of the heart, which is happiness about love. This is not love. Celebration, drinking, they're partying. Then you have the il delirante. Hopefully you can see that. This is the delirious. It's stupid actions, foolish behavior. Yeah, so what led to this needing to be released? You were investing money. So you were investing money. It seemed like it was a good investment. It was something to celebrate. But it was really, someone was just, yeah, these are energies. Someone was just robbing you. They were just using you. They were using you to get money, to get finances. And you've now come to the realization that that was not a wise choice. And for some of you, you realize that was a really bad choice, and now you're drunk like, oh my gosh, how did I do that? Why did I do that? Oh my gosh, how do I undo this? How do I fix this? But it was not a wise choice, was not a wise investment. So now it's time to end that relationship, end that partnership. Let them go. Now, let's do the 6 of Autumn. Yep. That other happiness card that I was talking about, that's the happiness of the heart. You have that right here. And then you have the La Donna di Servizio. And this is the maid, the helper, the woman who runs errands, who assists you. She does housework. And then you have the Disgrazia. And this is misfortune. This is really about things coming completely down, like in a total destructive event, just totally destructive manner. And this is again on the card as to what is blocking you. 6 of Autumn, what's blocking you? What's blocking you from releasing? What's blocking you from letting go? What's blocking most of you is you do have a love connection to this person. So whether it's you invested in their business, whether you invested in building a life and a foundation with them, whether you invested in their ideas to, oh, let's go buy some property together, you did it from a place of love. Your intentions were pure. You wanted to help her. You wanted to be the helper. And that's why you're stuck, because for some of you, you're still being called in to help, to assist. And that's why you won't call it quits, because for some of you, you still think that there's hope. Like, okay, maybe if I help out one more time, this will turn around. It'll be the love of a lifetime. You know, my other half, it's going to be great and beautiful. But it's not. It's not a wise choice. And again, because the 6 of Autumn, this is about making unwise choices, throwing your money and resources away to things that you should not be investing in, you should not be putting money in. That's what's blocking you. You continue to give this person money. They know that you want to help. They know that you want to assist them. That's how they are able to get you to come to their aid. For some, it's like they are so happy because they know that the second they call, help me, and they raise the white flag, I need your help, you come running to them. You're coming from a place that's pure and of a good heart, because you're coming hoping it's going to turn into love. But their intentions are not in the same place. They are just robbing you of your money. They just get the things. So for some of you that are in the situation, know that you're in the situation, because when you rush in and you help this person, you give them money, you help them out financially, medically, whatever it is that they need help with, you rush in to help them, and then bam, they're done with you until they need you again. That's why you're stuck. You are still torn, even though you're starting to see that this is foolish. You're starting to see that you have the short end of the stick. You still have this glimmer of hope that just maybe this time it's going to work. Well, they're about to burn that down. Because your divine team, God, Jesus, the angels, they have seen this going on for far too long. They want you to be in a relationship with someone where it's requited love, where it's mutual respect, where it's balanced, where you are both giving to one another. So they're going to tear this down. Because eventually what happens is, we'll get a divine push. God keeps trying to make us make a change. Keeps trying to get us to walk away, let go. And we just keep ignoring it, and we keep ignoring it, and we keep ignoring it. Well, the intensity just keeps getting up, and it increases and increases and increases to the point that it's kind of like boiling over. Like we are in the lowest point of our life. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong. Well, it's because the core issue for those of you in this situation is because you need to let this person go. They're forcing and pushing you. Yes, we have free will. But in some situations like this is fated. It's fated for you to let this person go because this is bad for you. This is not good. This was just to be a lesson. And when we're not learning our lessons, eventually God gets to the point where it's like, okay, I'm stepping in. I and Jesus and my angels, we are stepping in and we are ending these shenanigans because it is time for you to have something better. It is time to let go of this nonsense. It is time to let go of this being used. Because you're being used. They don't love you. They're not pulling you in because they want to build a home. They're pulling you in because they need your help. They need your money. That's all. And you're refusing to see it because you're coming from a place of love, of heart, of, oh, this is going to work out. We're going to come together. But it's not. So that's why you have now come to this culmination point. So for some of you, this is something that they've been trying to get you to release for a couple of years. You may even be some of those people that they've been trying to get you to release it since August 2015. But you've held on so much that the divine is just stepping in. God's stepping in. Jesus is stepping in. All the angels are stepping in because they're going to break this up and end this so you can get something better. So on a positive note, you'll be getting something better. Now let's pull 3. So you have the wealthy man, the adjudication, and child. So for some, you are going through a divorce, a breakup, a split. You are about to receive the determination. You are about to receive the decision. For some, it is going to go in his favor. But for some, it's going in his favor because he's been the one investing all the time. And he's due. He's owed that. Because he's been getting robbed and played the whole time. But what's going to happen? He's also an investment banker. He's been investing in something that was not wise, that was not a decision. And it's going to come to an end. The decision is going to be made in the immediate future to end this so that there can be a new beginning. And for some, it could be divorce that, the decision can be made on child support as well. But for many of you, it is the decision's going to be coming in to end this for a new beginning. Or so that you can prepare for a new beginning. So hopefully that helps, Taurus. I do wish you all an amazing month filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings.